welcome to The Point. It is Friday, April 30th, 2021, the final Friday in the month. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the GBN Production YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11, and 20. And good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9, and the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go to Fet Facebook pages. It's Open Line Friday here on To The Point, where we give viewers and listeners an opportunity to call us or message us with anything that they'd like to share. This is the platform to do so. The landline number is 435-2041. The WhatsApp number, it's also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the Facebook page and YouTube channel. Let's go to our first call of the program. Good morning, caller.
Muy buenos días, señorita. Señora, pardon me.
Good morning, Jeremiah. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I know you like to speak Spanish sometimes.
Yeah, when the bilingual take me.
Yes. I just want to let us people know that God is good. And the word of God says, God is good. It said, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy endureth forever. I got a video from a lady who is originally, I think, from St. Lucia, but living in Barbados, about a prophecy that she had for this nation, that she saw this underwater volcanoes in the Caribbean, but specifically Grenada, and that the Lord is calling on Grenadians to repent, to turn to him and turn from witchcraft. That was what she mentioned. Turn from witchcraft. She said going to, I forgot the name of the God she called it. But instead of going to God when people have problems, when they have need, when they need something, they go to the devil instead of going to God. He said God is angry of that, and he's calling on Grenadians to repent, to turn from witchcraft and turn to him, because he's going to visit us. He says how he visits in Vincent. He might visit us. It may be a little worse, because God has been speaking to Grenada for too long, and we are not paying heed. Instead of getting better, we're getting worse. Well, somebody said on one of your Facebook page that we're just like Haiti. Are we coming worse than Haiti now? Because everybody's running to do the amount of things you're hearing about what people doing to other people. You know, they envy and jealous and all kinds of things, doing all kinds of evil to people. God is asking Grenada to turn from witchcraft, turn to him, because when he visits us, I don't think it will be nice. So my prayer is that Grenadians who could pray, go on your knees, ask God to forgive your sins, and supplicate the throne of God for this nation, and pray that God will spare us, because that's not the first person that is saying God is going to judge Grenada for the sins, especially the sin of witchcraft. Have a blessed day, darling, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Ms. J. You do the same. Thank you very much. It's Open Line Friday here on the program. Anything that you'd like to share, any topic, this is your chance to do so. Yesterday on Talk to Things Thursday, there were still some comments on the social media that I didn't get a chance to read. And once time allows to this morning, I will read them during the program. The topic yesterday was if those in authority, Ministry of Education, the Royal Grenada Police Force, if they were intimidating workers with their responses to the actions, or if they're fueling the fire, or if they weren't doing enough. So I'll get to those comments shortly. In the meantime, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Barkham.
Morning.
Morning to your viewers and your listeners. It's unfortunate that some of us still trying to use fear to manage people. Hurricanes and earthquakes and so on are natural processes. Whether people pray or don't pray, they will happen. What is important is what we do in between when those things happen. If we consolidate ourselves, if we fortify ourselves in the sense that, for instance, the absence of windbreaks are affecting the intensity and velocity of hurricanes, the destruction of our mangroves and so on, clear the way for storm surge and all of the things, the natural processes which should be in place, the removal of sand and all of that weakens the resilience of the land, the natural systems, the ecosystems. So, for instance, I was telling the Barbadian friend yesterday, for instance, volcanoes. Without volcanoes, the volcanoes happen so that the land, to prevent the land from sinking. That's one of the functions of the eruption of volcanoes, to prevent the whole land from sinking. Don't forget that these islands were mainly volcanic origin. So if they came up through volcanic means, they could go down to volcanic means, or lack of volcanic means. So it's unfortunate that we're using fear to really intimidate people. But my substantive contribution this morning has to do with 2 points. One is that, and it was raised on your program. The first one is when the Beast raised the issue of Scaramouche. When I say that we have no sense of community, people just quick to shut up their ears. There's no sense of community in Grenada. People have said it over and over. We are on our own. People are dying. In fact, the idea that people think that a person who is alive still, there's so many of them who was called, the man is dead. Because we are disconnected, and that is what we need more than even prayers, connection. Because they're babbling. There are lots of things that pass as prayers, babbling, is brain repetition. So what we need is connection. What we need is solidarity. We need to love people and not things. We love things instead of people. We love things and we use people. And when they have no use anymore, they're discarded. If you some of the ways, the plight of people in the homes for either, well, let me not go too deeply in that. But some of the conditions in the homes that people have to resign themselves is something else. Now, the other thing I want, because I know I have to be mindful of time.
Yes,
the
time
other
to
thing
wrap
about
up.
it is to do with the comments of our leader in attacking the teachers. I think this gentleman should be ashamed. Most of the problems that's in Grenada is because of lack of leadership, bad leadership, all the expenses that we had to undergo, whether it's the ruling of the court, the behavior of the Taiwanese, for instance, we have a debt which should not have been on us and because how we treat the Taiwanese. Even the Grenada, all those things. The individual is saying that the teachers are endangering the children's life and so on. We are more in danger than anything else. The future of the children have been on their mind because they have been sold into slavery, and I can prove it.
Okay.
Everything. We have a master servant situation in Grenada. This is the thing we have to break. We are putting our children, our people and our children's future more in the hands of slave masters.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Let me go to the social media before I go back to the phone line. Somebody on WhatsApp, and this is a comment from yesterday. Somebody on WhatsApp said the government knew that they would have to pay the money monthly to the workers before they agreed and signed to pay, and members of the RGPF should understand they would benefit too. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Citizen Welsh. Your previous caller, they got me. Well, he won me. Anyway, I want to comment a bit on what he spoke about relative to something I heard this morning. They had a Calypsonian as a guest there, Beast, his Calypso name, with respect to him, about Scaramouche. I was told so 9 or 10 years ago when I returned there, and so that this man had passed away. As I was stunned this morning to hear about him, that he's still there, and may Lord give him more life. But more stunned to understand the condition in which he lives. No, this is saddening. He has never been a rich hitch in this country, but he's been one of the men who've been in the forefront in the promotion of the culture of this, the folkloric culture of this here country for years. But the modern day folks don't know him. And they cast him aside. The previous caller, they mentioned a significant word, community. Nobody else knows. Where is the history? Where is it written that nobody knows that this man and what he has done for this country to highlight it, to induce people to come to visit Grenada over the years? There's also that damning indictment, on the so-called social services of this here country and the Grenada Council for the Disabled. This organization of pimps inside here who setting up business to do themselves and to serve themselves instead of to serve the people with disabilities in this here country. Where are they? And I'm an indictment on them. These evil people, hypocrites, scribes, and Pharisees. It is painful, Citizen Welsh, how we treat our own people in this here country and people who have contributed to where we are today and seriously who built the pillars to where we are today in this here country. It does pain me. Let me stop here.
Thank you very much, Citizen Rollo. I appreciate. Thank you, and I share your sentiments, especially those who have contributed. When their contributions have ceased in the physical form, we forget about them. Somebody on Facebook says your second caller is on point through and through. All right, social media. I'll be right back. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Morning. How you doing?
Yesterday I had a wonderful session yesterday in the River Sally Medical Station. The doc came and gave us a wonderful, prostate test, all kind of tests yesterday, and it was wonderful. Most men came out, and I want to tell that doc thanks again, right, for all his information. Well, also my whole thing is that GBN gave a clip the last time with a particular lawyer or lawyers saying that they would represent people that don't want to take the vaccine, right? And I laugh real loud because I'm thinking that a lawyer represents the public, most lawyers. And when the public comes to you, you will wish that the public is vaccinated. That's all. I mean, come a man coming to your office, talking to your face about his problems, you will wish that man have his vaccine. You don't want nobody come to your office that, basically come there and talking in your face and they got the vaccine. So why are you want to represent somebody who doesn't want to take the vaccine? Now, a boss in a company don't need to deal with the customers or his workers. He could be in his office and talk to the supervisor, and the supervisor make sure he talk to the workers and get things done. You don't need to face them day to day. But a lawyer needs to face you when you go to the office. You will touch his door, you will touch his chair, you will talk to his secretary. So he would wish that the public get vaccinated. I can understand why would lawyers want to represent somebody or take up cases free. I say pro bono. Someone who don't want to be vaccinated. I mean, what? So the person that I'm working with you, Blossom, and you don't want to take vaccine, I take my vaccine already. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just not. What about public health? So lawyers that don't understand, they're putting their own self at risk. I think more than even a boss in a company, because bosses don't need to deal with their workers. Your manager, Blossom, don't need to deal with you. You could talk to somebody higher than you, and the person could call you on the phone. But a lawyer had to deal with his customers sometimes face to face. And I should think that the judges in Grenada should make sure the lawyers get vaccinated too before they come to court. Because the judge puts himself at risk too. So I'm just saying that the lawyers need to understand this we have a pandemic outside. And this is not simple time. This is not easy time. Your health is more important than all this politics and all this game on him. Prime Minister Mitchell already vaccinated already. So when election come around, you want to go on campaign to not so? You want to stay home? You watch in India. What has happened in India? Simple political rallies, people are dying just because they go to political rallies. We need to have sense in this country and get ourselves vaccinated and get ready for election and other things. Right?
Okay.
Have a nice day, Blossom.
Thanks, you do the same. Let me go to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, God doesn't allow bad things to happen. God doesn't allow bad things to happen, people. Only Satan and men do that. They are natural disasters, and we say it is God. God solves problems, not create. Another Facebooker says, caller, that is, I believe the second caller. Caller, you are correct. No community, and we're abandoning elders. Let me go on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, there is no history in Grenada. We flush it down the drain and only remember what we want to. And another WhatsApper says, okay, that person deleted the message, so let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Greetings, my dear Blassie. How are you?
Greetings, I'm good. How you do?
Well, not too bad. I hope we continue blossoming whether sun, rain, whatever, God say pray without ceasing.
I try. Thank you.
He's the God of the mountain as well as the God of the valley.
Amen.
But even the rain is a good blessing.
Exactly.
Now, I want to make a point, but before I do, let me just make a first one in terms of the callers who talk about this Calypsonian that Biz talked about. And normally I don't like to believe or dwell on statistics. I see it to be a very deceitful thing. However, just for what it's worth, I want to mention here that generally speaking, we use statistics for different reasons. One, in the field of education, one student who have had all support from home and other, advantages, he will do very well in exam. He may even be an island scholar, even for the region. And we use that to promote the idea that Grenada is doing well in education. Whereas, when you think about it, thousands of persons have failed in our education system. But we go and brag about that. In like manner, to make a long story short, this situation that is outlined to us by this Calypsonian who is bedridden by himself, this gives us a clear picture of what this social situation is here in Grenada. And although some person might say it's an isolated case, no, there are many people who are poverty-stricken, who are isolated, who are abandoned, suffering in their home. Young people, hungry children, that's why the sexually abused situation going up, as well as old people, whether they have contributed or not. And NIS is in no way, and the government is doing anything to help them. I want us to note is that even though it's one person, a lot of such things exist. But the point I want to make too is for you, Sister Blassie, on your radio station, on all serious journalists or reporters. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let us go through in steps. I think the Prime Minister, in his talk yesterday, I just got it over from the news, that he made a reference that it's not proper, based on agreement, understanding, to have the National Transformation Fund used to assist in recurrent expenses such as teachers' salary. Now, you correct me. I want you to ask me some questions. I want to relate the National Transformation Fund to do with the Citizen by Investment program. I hope I'm correct. Secondly, legislation concerning the National Transformation Fund as well as the Citizen by Investment is not very transparent. There's plenty things that is happening, provision that the public is not aware of. I would like the media to investigate further the accuracy of the information that is said by the Prime Minister concerning how this fund is executed and for what reason. In fact, to me, the Prime Minister put a link with this CBI program, this transformation fund, with the World Bank and this IMF. In other words, to pay back these people this debt, you need to have this fund there for payment. In the past, you couldn't go in and play cricket when there was blood money with appetite. This kind of CBI program, there is no due diligence. It is a corrupted form for most of the time, inverted commas. Are we saying that credible international institutions such as the IMF is endorsing whatever persecuting manner the government is involved with to pay them? I question that. I want us to look at the crux of the matter to see the accuracy. Let papers and full disclosure be done. Let us see what the Prime Minister is saying is true, or else it is a gross indictment on the formal international reputable organizations who give us grants and loans in good spirit. For them to say, do what you want, prosecute yourself, go and do whatever bad, rip off possible corruption and take the money and come and pay me. It's like a wife in the house or a mother sending her daughter out there to bring bread on the table. I am saying this is something for you, the media, to investigate. The Prime Minister could be correct, but I see here some integrity clashes here. Let us get to the root of the matter to understand what involved, because again I'm saying it shows how the first world country is using us in a conspiracy to cut our own turf. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope my point is well taken. Investigate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Noted, and I will pass it on to the reporters and powers that be. Let me go back to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, I find persons are disrespectful when they should be thankful, like Trinidad, against what is going on in Guyana. But we must keep in mind we are in the last days. Another Facebooker says, and a breakdown of how the money was spent. That's why the information was not given to the teachers' union leader. Switch over to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, just as the Prime Minister made a pledge to assist the airport authorities every month, can he do the same negotiation with the teachers until the signed agreement is met? If not, I urge the teachers to keep on fighting. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Brussels.
Morning.
On this International May Day, I would like to salute all of the frontline workers, all of the workers of Grenada, those who have gone before and have paved the way so that today we as workers can enjoy the 8-hour workday period. I salute them. We say continue to do your work. And I also want to congratulate the TAO on their ability to seek out and stand with the workers at the bank. Today they can be reorganized and back on the job. We say solidarity forever. The union live on. Continue the struggle. Have a blessed day, Blossom, and happy May Day, everyone.
Thank you. Enjoy your day as well, and happy May Day to you. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, we do have a conflict between the government and the unions. The topic of conflict resolution normally discussed at schools, churches, communities, etc. Tell me, what are these two parties learning? Shame on them. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Yeah. Blossom, you know, something already, the first caller, the first caller spoke most about spiritualness and everything, and talk about people. Most times, you know, might be things that may happen in the future with the volcano or whatever. You know, and I tell you something and speak about, you know, witchcraft, this and that. People are going to witchcraft homes and you know, a lot of people most times just giving this nation, a beautiful nation, a bad name, as though Grenada is some kind of a country that deals a lot with witchcraft and things. And they always like to places like Haiti, you know, and it was Grenada. And if I don't tell people, I don't buy one person, I never believe in this witchcraft thing, because look at Haiti. Thousands of people right now trying to get rid of the Prime Minister in Haiti for the past years now, and they can't get rid of him. So if the people in Haiti could have walked witchcraft and you think they could have get him out of office, I just always think about all those things. Even John Bernard Aristide, when he was in office, thousands of people fighting to get him out, trying to kill him out, and they couldn't. If the people in Haiti could have walked voodoo or do things that people are saying, I just believe it's just a scene, you know, and there's most times people's minds and people doing this witchcraft thing. And next thing again, I want to go back to this 4% thing with the teachers and public service workers and whatever. You know, the teachers and I'm okay, I'm in solidarity with the teachers and so forth, you know, but they know definitely in the true sense, I do believe they will get their money sometimes this year. I don't know if it's perhaps December or before December, you know, I wish they could get it even earlier, right? But what, you know, everybody talking about the 4% of the teachers, they know definitely, sometimes they will get it, sometime this year they will get it. But what about those CLICO workers, people who was affiliated on that CLICO? For the past years, a lot of workers been retired. The workers are like who was working on the port, you know, Hobbarts, you know, people retiring, going home.
Okay.
CLICO been ducking from these payments, and then people going home and they can't get a cent. You understand?
All right.
Some of the workers looking depleted, you know, some of them dying and they can't get a cent. But now only teachers that don't have problems, you know, that had a problem. Or you have other places like, you know, I mean, people who need it, they are having the money too just as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. Enjoy your day as well. Let me read 2 comments on the WhatsApp before we go to a break. Somebody on WhatsApp says, Come on, is there any COVID here? Leave people alone to give their opinions. My lawyer said you can't force anyone to take a vaccine, so if that's a problem, then hold it. A few lawyers are vaccinated, including mine, not the Prime Minister alone. I am fully vaccinated as well. Yes, there is COVID here. We currently have 2 active cases. They are in isolation. I can't remember if it's home or government, but they are in isolation, but we do have COVID. Let's take a break. This is To The Point on Classic and GBN. To The Point, we'll be right back.
Do you hear what I hear? Listen to the ocean, and you will hear a cry for help. The ocean is hurting, and we are the source of the hurt. But we can stop and start to heal our ocean by preventing pollution from getting into our waterways. It can start with you. Join an active organization, or better yet, make a personal commitment. Commit not for just one day in the year, but for the rest of your life. Let's dispose of our plastic and other waste responsibly, and let's start building resilience. Let the healing begin.
This message is brought to you by the OECS Commission with funding from the Government of Norway. Remlit, tackling ocean pollution from turf to surf.
Mothers are special and should always be celebrated. One great way to honor the caregivers among us is through song. It is for that reason the Grenada Broadcasting Network is teaming up with some of the best talents on the island to bring you Celebrating Queens, a 2-hour virtual concert on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 9th. From the scenic 61 Degrees West Restaurant and Bar on Grandin's Beach, we celebrate Mom, your mother, our heroes. Celebrating Queens, celebrating Mother's Day.
This Mother's Day will be extra special. Riders New York presents the epic Mother's Day Celebration Virtual Concert 2021, featuring a full acoustic performance by the Hitman, the Veteran, Grenada's greatest entertainer, Elimas Gilbert, the Inspector, alongside Dash, Val Adams, Quacko, Mr. Golden, and Anselm Douglas. Sunday, May 9th, 2021, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us as we celebrate our lovely mothers on this special day. Sponsors, David Williams Funeral Home, RiderSounds.com, call allpronow.com, GBN, and Ride Along Live. The epic Mother's Day Celebration Virtual Concert. Log on and tune in. Will be extra special as Riders New York presents the epic Mother's Day Celebration Virtual Concert 2021, featuring a full acoustic performance by the Hitman, the Veteran, Grenada's greatest entertainer, Elimas Gilbert, the Inspector, alongside Dash, Val Adams, Quacko, Mr. Golden, Sunday, May 9th, 2021, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us as we celebrate our lovely mothers on this.
Welcome back to Open Line Friday here on To The Point, where we give you, our viewers and listeners, opportunity to phone in and share your thoughts. The landline number, once again, 435-2041. The WhatsApp number is also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can continue to post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blassie. How are you doing?
Good morning, I'm good. How you do?
A day blessed, man. One morning I heard somebody say Blassie, and I like that name. You know, we're talking about the teachers abandon children. I want us to take a little trip and visit the home in Tempe and see people who abandon the children. And here people are just saying, let's see them, they're good on the street, you know. They could take care of the children, but these children, they're in the home. Plus, we have mothers that take fathers to court for maintenance. The father owing the court $20,000. And the poor children, sometimes the parents take them when they had 10 years, they take them to court for maintenance. These children growing to reach 18 years and the father still owe the court. That is abandoned. I'm sure none of the teachers and them don't have a child in the home. So when we're talking about abandonment of children and we love children, last time we have people working in Grenada for $800 a month and they have all the children. How they maintaining these children? Today you're calling on people to stand up against the teacher and say they abandon the teachers 366 days in a year, twice a year. They leave the children and they go to stand up for what is doing. You call in abandonance. We mustn't be so hypocrite. Have a good morning, sister.
You enjoy your morning as well. All right, let me pass on YouTube. Let me go back on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, it is unfortunate that GBN only played the clip of the PM's interview with respect to the remarks about the unions and teachers in particular during their nightly broadcast last evening, and not his remarks about so-called environmentalists close to the end of the interview. The so-called environmentalists responded swiftly to his disparaging remarks with a press release. Facebooker, you would appreciate that the Prime Minister covered a wealth of topics yesterday in the, I think it was about an hour and a half or so in the press conference. So it's not every comment on every subject will make the nightly newscast. So we just pick and choose which comments would go today, maybe tomorrow, please Lord, which one we can add with another aspect for maybe Monday, maybe even 3 weeks from now. I'm just saying. So it's not that every comment would make it. So you never know. It might make it tonight. Now that the environmentalists have responded, you never know. It might go in the newscast tonight. Maybe Monday, please the Lord, if we can get an interview from whoever responded. So never fear. Never fear. Let me go by WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, shame on Grenada Calypsonians. Come on, guys. Get up and do something for Kaiso. They are working on together to get something especially for Scaramouche. As B said this morning, he has liaised with a number of them, including Specky, Scholar, Ajamo, and a number of them are coming together and would provide assistance as best they can. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Okay, it's not ringing as yet, so back to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, good morning, Janelle. Somebody on WhatsApp says, what's happening in town today? I'm seeing heavy police present plus van loads of battle dresses. SSU heading towards St. George's. Remind me of October 1983. The Grenada Union of Teachers is expected or is scheduled to host another protest march in the city around mid-morning. I think it's between 10 to 12. So the police have advised that a number of the streets will be closed off to vehicular traffic to facilitate the crowd that they're expecting in the city during the march. So it could be their officers are there to ensure law and order during the march scheduled for 10 to 12 noon. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm very much concerned about this thing about right, human rights, political rights, and all kind of rights. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of us want excessive right. We want even rights to thief. And I cannot understand how we think. Maybe perhaps in Grenada, Grenadians have a tendency to think things that could never be right. We have people talking about lawyers taking cases. That's their right. They have a right to take case to see if they could win, to boost their ego, to boost their self-esteem. And I wouldn't blame them for taking case, because if they win one case, it's likely they may get 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 cases, because that shows they have great potential to win cases. Now, I cannot understand how people would condemn other people. For example, some people using right words and saying that we are animals, and yet for a particular journalist a few years back would always say that man is not an animal. And we are educating people the wrong way. we telling them about, as I've already said, freedom of speech, freedom of this. And they have a tendency, people have a tendency to believe that freedom of speech means that you could say anything you want about somebody, and then they have the right to say it. You have limited rights, limited freedom of speech, limited what you must say and what you should do. You don't have excessive rights. You don't have excessive freedom of speech. And this is what we have to educate ourselves about. No, people have a right to say what they think, but not what is wrong. I listened this morning to the interview you had with this Calypsonian, and it hurt me to see what is going on. People have the right to even to help people who cannot help themselves. Try to give them good advice, but people have a tendency not to take good advice. They only hear the advice that what is in their favor, what they think is right. Now, sometimes I say things on the radio, on the station, and I would hear people say others criticizing me, but that's their right. I'm not vexed. And you know what I usually say? Poor souls, they do not know what they are saying. I forgive them. That's my right to forgive them. Thank you very much. In fact, recently somebody stoned my house. Not because they had to stone it, because they were crazy. They are crazy. They recently, I understand, came from away. And they're just doing things in a crazy way. I would like people to try to coach them and tell them their rights. This is what people don't understand. You have to help people to know their rights, or to build them to know their true rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me go on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, I'm watching from Trinidad. Good morning, Brenda. I'm watching from Trinidad. We have COVID like mad, so Grenada is blessed. Morning, Brenda Fleming. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe and be COVID-19 smart. I know it's rampant in Trinidad. Somebody else let me go by WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says the teachers are not fighting for only 4%. They are struggling, sending the message that the pensions promised by the government during election campaign and for respect from those taxpayers pay as well. Another WhatsApper. The reporters at the Prime Minister's press conference, is that the best we have? I feel ashamed when I hear them questioning the Prime Minister. It is a series that the Prime Minister has been engaged in since the year started. He has been facilitating different reporters from different media houses. So this is not the first and hopefully won't be the last, because the GBN has not had the opportunity. At least GBN has not been invited to any of the previous ones as yet. So maybe, hopefully, next time around. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Blossom, how are you?
I'm good.
You know, Blossom, it's great. I'm baffled. I'm baffled because when I listened to the Prime Minister's speech yesterday, I felt a bit sad, because it tells me that there is a disconnect, a logical disconnect. For example, the Prime Minister told me as a Grenadian yesterday that he pointed out a scenario. I give a story about a parent and the child. Basically, there is some neglect, because of what the teachers stand. And he also pointed out to me of the ills that can happen because of certain tendencies that exist in our society. But the Prime Minister refused to see what his action or inaction is really fueling this whole situation. If I don't think the Prime Minister is right, and you see he is trying to demonize some people, because he said some teachers are reasonable. This is not about some teachers are reasonable. Struggles throughout the world, it takes a few to struggle, and everybody benefits. That's how it has been, and he knows that. So don't for one moment think that the teachers that are seemingly giving the impression as though they are okay with it, they are okay with it. They are towing the line. Come on, let us be realistic. They are not the same breath in which we can find money. In other words, there is nothing as we don't have in Grenada here based on when I look at this presented scenario. It is what matters to the Prime Minister, what is priority to him. And the teachers and whoever it is definitely not priority, right? Now, I see, the teachers are about to march, and we have to deploy dozens upon dozens of police officers. I mean, it frightens me. You know why it frightens me? Because one decision that the Prime Minister make could take out this whole militant, this sort of seeming unrestful situation in the country. And when I listen to him, the Prime Minister, I'm disappointed because he just reinforced the point that, look, I am being vindictive. I am being vindictive here. I would not do it because they asked for it. I am going to do it when I want to do it. And this is sad. And this is the point I think Grenadians need to look at. Not the 4%, not the $40, which the 4% may represent to some teachers, or the $50.
Okay.
But the Prime Minister's action in all of this. Because I honestly, after listening to him yesterday, I think he is the instigator in all of this.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Let me go to YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says, the Prime Minister needs our prayers. It's tough and you can't please everyone. He covered many topics yesterday. Health, encouraged people to take their health seriously, walk more, exercise, healthy eating and drinking. Have a blessed day. Thank you very much. You enjoy your day as well. WhatsApp, the children, stop. Teachers always have to struggle, which is not right, but this is the worst I have ever seen. I could remember as a child going to the St. Paul's Model School in the days of Foster Gittins and Gary and Blaze, teachers fighting for what is theirs, but never in this long period of time, the leaders used to settle in a reasonable time. The children are not at risk. The parents must let them know what the teachers are doing is for their rights and they ought to respect them. Let me go back by Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, we all jumped up saying, if not for the frontline and their great job handling the COVID. Now the same frontliners are part of the civil servants, the same PM and Minister of Health praising, even though the same Prime Minister said they were stealing meat from the hospital in a meeting in NYC. Despite that accusation, they put it behind them and put the citizens of Grenada first in the COVID era, and yet the Prime Minister is refusing to give the 4% they truly deserve, but paying Mrs. Otway Noel $5,000 to advise what? Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you?
Morning, I'm good. How you do?
I'm just calling to concern with that statement of the Prime Minister, right? When he talked about the airport situation. It's not that we don't get that he had not mentioned anything, nobody has said anything. But I think what the point that is missing here is that who was there at that meeting or that briefing is that they endorsed the endorsement of what has been said. That is the problem. Because they endorse it. If the man has said it, and that is his opinion, he just share his views, then you don't say anything to what is fine. But he share his view, he share his opinion, and you endorse that. You in support and in sync of it. And that is what is frightening. That is what is frightening. You know, they said actions speak what? Louder than words. So you have to speak it and say it out. But because you endorse it, somebody else say it for you. You don't want to say it for yourself. So somebody else say it, and you endorse it. And making another point that other Caribbean countries have about privatized. It's like, maybe you're looking for it somewhere somehow, but endorsing something like that, so it is frightening to endorse that. And that is my problem of endorsing it. And I think that even the other issue I had yesterday where he said Mr. Otway has released $5,000. I don't believe that. Because people don't do that. They don't want to tell somebody's salary in the air. You understand? That is like a cover-up. That's not the truth. That's not fact. He just said that. That is not true. Misleading people. That's what he do. Misleading people. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, caller. You enjoy your day as well. Back on WhatsApp, somebody on WhatsApp says, oppositionism has taken over. We oppose everything. Another WhatsApper says, why some people feel they can call on people and ask them to take the vaccine and give all the reasons why it should be taken, and others are being criticized for asking people not to take it for reasons they are also advancing. Everyone should have that right. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Morning.
And have a
You too. You too.
No, I am very sad, very, very sad for what is happening in Grenada. There is a disconnect. There is almost a total breakdown between the citizens and our administrators. That was long in coming. You know, over the years I had been saying this. We practicing too much hate. We have a what's called time bomb waiting to happen. And we have arrived. We have arrived. It seems as though Grenada don't have any representative. We don't have any person who is really looking out for us, and that we're breaking down further. I don't know how further down we're going to go. It is that bad. I don't know who is advising our administration. And I don't want to be political here. I don't know who is advising our political people or government, but whoever is advising the government are not doing a good job, because it's not getting better. It is getting worse. How do you get to the point where you are fighting your citizens? You cannot fight your citizens to win, because they're the people who have to keep you going. And if you get angry, so angry that you don't want to listen, and in other words, what you say, you're so vexed, so angry with us that you just don't care what will happen. It is chaos. The next stage to where we are is chaos, and I'm advising, if I have to do that now, advising our leaders once again to turn around, because we're too far apart, and see what you did not do over the years, what you should have done, which is to take care of the people, ensure that people develop economically. Because if you don't develop economically, you're going to break down socially. And say to us, our citizens, we did not do well over the years. And now we pledge ourselves, we listen to you, we hear you, and we pledge ourselves to be different, to look after your well-being. Now, this is the language the government need to send out there to us, so that we could have this country going in a way that is peaceful for everybody. Other than that, I am saying we're going down to chaos. We're almost there. It will be hell loose for the young people. I'm begging. I am tired. Have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You enjoy your day as well. Let me see. YouTube, Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, God is judging leaders now in this pandemic period, so the people have to know this and wait on God. That always delivers. Who always delivers? My heart is in prayers for the world. Let me go on WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, did not the Prime Minister say recently that a bill was passed in Parliament to suspend the act that controls the fund so that they can use it however they want? I cannot recall. I remember yesterday he did say that some documents have to go before Parliament, possibly in the next sitting, in relation to how much exactly is in the fund. I don't recall suspending the thingy. Good morning, caller.
Morning, greetings, Blossom.
And greetings.
Yeah, you're going all right, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm good. You good?
Stay good, stay good. Yeah, well, so long you did. I good too, you know. Because you're feeding us with nourishing things. You're nourishing the mind and the heart and the soul and everything, you know.
Thank you. That's my job.
That is the time that we have now to really try to address our people's concern and situation.
Exactly.
And we have to start from the Prime Minister, because from whence I know him as a youth, he never was being respectable to me. And if he wasn't respectable to me as a youth, and he had disrespect me so much, and I always asked him to come and explain to the people of Grenada what he had said to me, because nobody really concerned about what part he used to play when he was under Gary, Uncle Gary. We never concerned what party play when the revolution was wrong. We never concerned what party play in the invasion of Grenada. We never questioned those things, and those are the things we have to question, because our leader, as far as I know him from 17 years, he was a disrespectful man from that time, even get worse up to today. That let Grenadians take it, smoke it in the pipe, because I tell them before, ask him what he went and say to Gary when my ancestors sent me with the message to deliver. So our country today would have been free. We would have been with agriculture in a big way. Our country, our people, our children would have been much educated. Maybe that's why I am not that educated. Maybe that's why I don't have the know-how to really go and get him out from up there and put people who concern and care about our nation. And the next thing is that these politicians and that have tricks in their head, they always use the police and soldiers to hold the people down. And the police and soldiers not realizing who they're supposed to be protecting in a holistic way is the people that have you there. These leaders and them come and go. The people would always be there. Give thanks, my sister. Bless love.
Give thanks, caller. Thank you. Bless love. All right, let's start to wind down. Let me go back on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says the only government that tried to do something in the medical field is the PRG. Gary didn't do anything, Blaze didn't, NDC didn't, and the NNP, the worst for 25 years, the medical situation, the worst. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, the Prime Minister is not as easy as Gary. He is sophisticated, experienced with age and knowledge, especially with the link between local and international bourgeois. Nobody in Grenada reading, so everything looks new. There is nothing new under the sun. Okay, let me read some comments and then we'll take the final caller. Somebody says, are the children at risk when they reach home at 2:30 and parents are not there, or when they are sick and are left home alone? This is beside the point. I don't understand how government cannot pay, but they find money to do all sorts of unnecessary things. This is just selection tactics. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
Great. I'd like to make a point as it relates to a statement that a foreign investor made. The gentleman, I listened to what he said, that he expresses, or he would have expressed his opinion about the international airport, our international airport. I cannot see the excitement, the noise, the bitterness, the distortion and the lies and the misinterpretation. As a Grenadian, I've heard people say already that NASA should be privatized. The Tide say that on calling program, and they call out a government entity, etc. The gentleman said, look what he thinks, what he believes. Why is that? And I mean, why are we so, or some of us are so alarmed or so upset or angry? Is it because we have a problem? Is it that we have become so illogical? Is it that we are so bitter that someone cannot express his opinion on an issue? There are airports throughout the world, and I am not saying my position is to privatize the international airport. There are airports in the developed world, in democratic societies, that are not managed and controlled by the state. So if the guy says that, fine, that is his opinion. The question is the government negotiating with him? Is the government about to do that? Yesterday in the Prime Minister's press conference, he said no. So why don't we look at issues that are pertaining to our national development and try to educate each other and push this place forward instead of stooping so low for confusion, chaos, distortion, and lies? It's upsetting. Thanks very much, lady.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me read the final comment. Somebody on Facebook says, the Honorable Prime Minister has to stop blaming citizens of this country for the ills that are taking place and shoulder his responsibility. Stop the blame game and sit with his cabinet and make a concerted effort to remedy some of the many problems facing this country. After all, he's in charge. All the problems taking place in this country is caused by the way this government is handling situations. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, teachers are not fighting for themselves. They are fighting on the school feeding for $800 a month. Could you imagine cooking for 20 years and more, and you still cannot come home with $1,000 when the month ends? Another WhatsApper, it is clear that our problem in Grenada is no longer the New National Party. It is a lack of a proper alternative. People can talk as long as you want, but unless you give us a better alternative, it will be the same old, same old. If parents cared about their children, they would support the teachers in their struggle. The economy will benefit from the 4%. Another WhatsApper. Work with me, WhatsApp. Another WhatsApper says, I'm calling on all to take some time to look at St. Vincent and just thank God for his mercies. Grenada's situation is not unique. The Prime Minister promised to pay because of the present financial situation. Can they understand? I am in sympathy with the Prime Minister. And the final WhatsApp that I can read, the Prime Minister's speech, reverse psychology. All right, WhatsApp. I'm trying to get everybody's comments. Facilitate as many as I can. Somebody on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, teachers are responsible for the children during school hours, not after or before. Somebody else on Facebook. Many people would like to return to Grenada, but because of the medical situation, they are scared. And the final Facebook comment that I can read for this morning, the Prime Minister is open to suggestions from Naguib Sawiris regarding privatization of the airport. So let's privatize the education system too and let Naguib pay the 4% and run it. He will finally hire teachers who could smile. And that's the end. That's the end of Open Line Friday here on To The Point. Always appreciate your viewership, your listenership, and your time. Thank you so much for participating. Hopefully I got to all the comments posted so far and appreciate it. It's now time for us to make way for this morning's mid-morning buzz. Remember, it's a public holiday tomorrow, God willing, not on Monday. So enjoy your, what we can call a long weekend with 2 days of back-to-back holidays or back-to-back non-action. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Those of you who are participating in May Day activities, whatever they may be, continue to be COVID-19 smart. Exercise caution over the weekend. Things have a way of happening on holidays. Don't let it happen to you. Don't become a statistic. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless.